All right, Peter, but tell me the truth. Who do you like?
Probably Resident Evil 4, or maybe Sekiro, or maybe.
A critical error is an error which the OS cannot reasonably ignore. Jake Steinberg is a streamer, writer, and certified yapper. Complimentary. Peter Szpytek is a YouTuber, journalist, and certified yapper. Derogatory. These are the things they cannot reasonably ignore.
Having a little fun today on the Critical Error podcast. You've, of course, seen it on the social platform of your choosing. 10 games to get to know me. That's what we're talking about today. Yeah, we each made one of these little posters. We're going to reveal them to each other and just have a little fun talking about 10 games to get to know us. Now, I think it's important to clarify right from the jump. These are not like our 10 favorite games of all time, though I'm sure there's some overlap.
Yeah. I think it's got to be, it's like the idea is these are 10 games that like shaped you in some way, whether that is your gaming tastes, whether that is your like just games that like really resonated with you, that really stick with you.
Yeah. I feel like these are a lot of games that you remember, like when you played them. You remember like what the circumstances were, what you were doing. This is kind of fun. We saw so many people posting about these, and we had kind of like a serious episode last week. So we just kind of want to unclench the showers, kick our feet up, and talk about some games that we love. The games to get to know us.
We need it. We need just a day, just after a week of kicking back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter, what is something that the people out there don't know about me that you know about me?
Gosh, I mean, can it be things that like I think they could probably guess?
Yeah.
Because so like you are someone. Here's something about you that they might not know about you. You're someone who loves a big walk. Every single time I hear from Jake Steinberg, it's always like, "What's Jake doing? Oh, he's on a walk." Whether it's with his beloved dog Chip, whether it is with his beloved wife Sarah, or perhaps both at the same time, which I know happens frequently. But also, Jake's just out and about. He's walking. He's out on the town.
Roaming is the word that people have.
And that is what you do.
Jake loves to roam. It's true.
True. Call him Caesar Augustus because he's Roman.
Oh, baby. Peter, I don't know if people really know how musically talented you are. And you have an album coming out this fall. You have a new song coming out the day after this podcast is posted.
It is true.
And if people go over to their Spotify or wherever they listen to music, they type in Peter Hunt and the Great Outdoors, they can hear all of the songs you've released so far.
They can hear all of them.
I have never been more excited to get my Spotify Wrapped so that I can screenshot. So that I could screenshot it and show you that I am in the 0.0001% of your listeners.
I'm so excited. Something. I know this is not the pot. Like this, it's so funny. So this is like almost like. Now here's the thing. As you're listening to this, what you should understand is this concept started out as a bonus episode for our Critical Error Nation. $5 and up, patreon.com/critical error. This was originally a bonus episode, and we were like, honestly, we had kind of a heavy week last week. Let's have a light one. And so, to be honest, it feels like it's a bonus episode.
Yeah, so I didn't want to get right into the games for some reason. I was like, let's establish the tone here.
Which is so not us, because like the whole podcast is like we're getting right to it. Which I'll tell you this: next week we'll be right back to getting back to it. Yeah. But like it feels. If you're liking this, I guess is what I'm saying, and if you like this episode, consider again patreon.com/critical error, because it's more of this. But something about you, Jake, that I really appreciate. As someone who you are like an art consumer and fan, is that like when you talk to me about the things that I make, you say stuff that is like stuff that I really thought about that no one else is going to comment on, because most people are just like, oh, I liked your video, and then you move on, or like, oh, liked your new song, and then you move on. But you're like, you messaged me about the most recent single off our album called Autumn, and you were like, there's something in the chorus here that you're like, I like that it's a song about dealing with like sadness and sort of like a morose kind of like mellow feeling, but it's not like about anything specific. It's not like this great big tragedy. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you're like, because you mentioned in the course, like you're watching movies with tragedy endings, and it's just like, because it's like that feeling of like holding on to being sad for no reason at all.
Oh, dude, it's just
you pointed that out, and I was like, "Damn, thank you for making me feel seen."
Oh my god, yeah, people write so much, especially in kind of like the literary circles that I crawl around typically.
Yeah,
about like trauma and depression and like all of this like really heavy stuff. And I find the stuff that really hits me the hardest is the stuff that feels the most like real. And I think that there's something so like ordinary and fleeting, like this thing that just like passes you by, but as it passes through you, it's just like that quiver in your chest. And I'm like, oh man, that's this song has got like that quality to it.
I'm so glad it lands
slipping through your fingers, man. Oh god,
because it's a song that I wrote that is kind of just like trying to feel out like what seasonal depression is like,
right?
Where it's not like this thing that is like, this, it's not a car crash, right? It's not some horrible thing that happened. It's just this like you wake up and you're like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I appreciate the words.
Of course. Do you want to get into the thrust of
the episode? I think we should.
So I was kind of thinking about it in my head. I was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? Am I going to show my list? And we're going to talk about mine. We're going to show yours. We're going to talk about yours. I actually think what we're going to do is we're going to put them both on screen over our faces right now. Okay, great.
Wow, what a list.
Yeah. So now the audience can consume both of these lists, get every single judgment out about both of us that they need to get out. And someone right now is exiting out of the video. Someone is
exiting out. Someone is commenting like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah. But for everyone that chooses to stick around past this point, goddamn, love and respect to you.
Appreciate you. Also, you asked for me to use a photo that is like not a common photo that I use. Yeah. And so this is me. I'm petting a cat, which is not like me.
Okay. Yep.
I've maybe touched a cat 3 times in my life. This is one of them. I'm also, as you can sort of see, wearing a Shujin Academy,
of course,
sort of like windbreakery kind of like varsity jacket.
It's like a Letterman jacket.
Yeah. Because I was in character. Me and some of Elena's friends did like it wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, but it was a tabletop RPG game. And for the first day, we had to come in character, and I was playing a jock, and I don't have jock clothes, and so I wore a Persona fucking Letterman jacket.
Bro, that's awful. That's so bad.
It was embarrassing. Everyone was like, "Is this your school?" And I was like, "No."
No, you should have said yes. You should have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I went to Shujin Academy. Where is that? Downers Grove.
Yeah. Right. Peter, let me tell you what calls out to me first.
Yeah.
Tell me about Final Fantasy X.
So here's the thing about Final Fantasy. And I've heard people say this, and I think this is true for a lot of different games. And people will say, like, games from like long running series. People will say, like, oh, your favorite one is the first one you played.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
And I have found that to be true with Final Fantasy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I love Final Fantasy X. I love it so much. And there's something about Final Fantasy X that for me has not been recaptured in any of the other Final Fantasy games that I've played. And that specific element, I believe, is playing it when you're 10 years old. And I can't do that again. Right? I have since replayed Final Fantasy X, and I loved it just as much. But I think it was the nostalgia of it for me, because it's a good game. I do like it. I think it goes some great places. I think it's got some great stuff in it. Of course, it has the often maligned "let's try laughing" scene, which everyone misunderstands because they only ever seen it in a YouTube video and not like in the full context of the game. But what I'm saying is, I think that it is the type of game that, and the Final Fantasy, I think, is the type of series that most people who play video games have had some sort of interaction with. And I genuinely do believe that most people's favorite will be the first one that they played. And so I remember playing this game. I got a used PS2, and I got Final Fantasy X from the Frugal Muse in Downers Grove, Illinois. Used, got a copy of it because I heard people talk about Final Fantasy, and I put it in, and my mind was blown by the magic and the power of the PlayStation 2.
I love Final Fantasy X. It's my favorite Final Fantasy.
Was it, by chance, the first one you played?
So looking back, I realize now that yes.
Yes,
it was. And but I have played it again since. Mm-hmm. I think there was a remake or a remaster or something that was on the
Switch.
Sure. On the Vita, I actually didn't play it on the Switch, but I've thought about going back to it many times. The thing that actually calls out to me about that game is the romance between Tidus and Yuna that I like it a lot. I think it's one of like the best love stories in video games, to be completely honest with you. Yes.
And you know why I like it? It reminds me a little bit of like a better version of the romance in Star Wars in the original, not the original, the prequels between Anakin and what is her name? Padme? Because it's kind of this thing that it's like in Star Wars it's a little too heavy-handed, but in Final Fantasy it's a little like forbidden. It's not forbidden, but it is like, hey, this shouldn't be happening. Hey, should someone stop this? Hey, there's a bunch of people around who probably should say something and step in, and no one does. But it's like that doomed love that they all kind of know is doomed, but they're all a little too uncomfortable to say, hey, this is doomed. You know what I mean?
Dude, I love depictions of love as a form of testimony. So many stories love to deploy love as something that like liberates them from whatever system they're in.
Yeah.
And I think like there's something just as important and impactful about marking that you existed within that system.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's like, man, I just think that's cool. They didn't let themselves be ghosts before they were dead.
Say it again.
They didn't let themselves be ghosts before they were dead. They made a place for like intimacy, even though like within the apocalypse, dude.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff about like what the camera does with them and the imagery of like gravity and the water. And like, I actually think it's like pretty, like there's like stuff there that I think is like actually impactful and cool. And I like it a lot.
I agree. I also liked a lot that, the voice actor for Bender from Futurama is Waka, and I always thought that was very funny.
Wow.
He's also, I believe, Jake the dog in Adventure Time, though I did not watch much of that show.
Yeah, I know, because my name's Jake. That comes up every now and then.
People I bet, huh?
Yeah,
like, like the dog.
Like Jake the dog. Yeah, it's either that or Jake from State Farm. But
dude, why do people do that? Again, this is exactly what the bonus episodes are.
I know, this is just bonus. If you're loving this, then $5 at patreon.com/criticalerror a month.
So much of it.
You have so much of it.
Yeah. People love to do that though. If you just have a name, any name, people will walk up to you and just point at you and be like, Peter Pan.
No, that hurts.
This is nothing.
That was physically painful to hear.
Usually it's Peter Parker, which I don't mind because I do like Spider-Man, but it is also nice. Like what? Yeah, it's the name.
I played Multiverses for a bit, and I was really into it. I loved Multiverses
for a bit. Yeah, I know you.
I was the #1 Multiverses fan. There, you got me to say it. There, I considered putting it on my poster. And but Jake the dog was in that game. And,
he was, yeah.
And it was kind of fun to be like, you play as Jake the dog, and then the other characters in the game are fighting you, and they're like, "Get back over here, Jake." I'm like, all right,
you're like, here's a question for you.
Yeah, please.
Tell me about Florence, a game that I do not recognize. The only game on your list that I just don't know. Okay. What is this game?
It has since come out on like the Switch and other things, but it was originally a mobile game, and it's one of these games that you can play start to finish in like, I think far less than half an hour. But remember And Roger that we talked about on one of the bonus episodes?
Yeah.
A lot of reviews for And Roger would say that it was kind of made in the image of Florence to kind of give you an idea of the gameplay and the storytelling. So a lot of just like quick little mini micro games that you're doing with your touchscreen to kind of frame the emotional temperature of the moment. And Florence is the story of a young woman falling in and out of love. And it does this through these little mini games that again are trying to like capture an emotional beat or like a ritual of a relationship, of falling in love, and how things that can maybe start out uncomfortable can become more and more comfortable and easy. And it's kind of like a fun, the way that the game deploys that kind of thing is really nice. But this game gets a lot of love for its soundtrack, this orchestral score that I think the crescendos and the wilts are like undeniably powerful and well done in a way that kind of what we were talking about with your song at the jump here. The depiction of love and this romance and this relationship is so grounded in like the tedium. And I think it really understands the beauty of the mundane and the ordinary, and how losing something that is mundane and ordinary in your life can really cut deep. Yeah. So really cool game. Highly recommend anybody check it out. This is like, I can't imagine they sell this puppy for like $5. You know what I mean? So it's on your Switch, your phone, whatever it is. Highly recommend. Put those headphones in. I put this on my list because it was important to me for me to have like this is the kind of story that I love. It's saying something I think like cutting and deep without like screaming it.
Yeah. And I think also like I do love so also I'm just looking at this image of you. Is this at your wedding?
That was me. I think I was reading my vows at my wedding. Yeah.
I love it so much. And I like that you made this like into like you like really did a good job on this.
Wow. Thank you.
You made me panic today when you were like, so did you make your image? And I was like, I thought we were just reading a list. And you were like, no. And like you've shown me up. Anyway, there is something about this that I don't need a game to be about the end of the world for me to care.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's such a shorthand. It's so easy. Like, well, I live on a world. What? But it's like, here's a game here's a game that is like so like not on my list, but like I do think it gets this right. You ever play Heavy Rain?
Yeah.
What I think that game gets really, really right, and the list of things it does are short, but it is like it's just like a small story about something that happens to a guy.
Right. Okay.
And so like because it's small, like it's just like a guy. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a guy, and like I know this thing more intimately than I know the idea of the end of the world, because there is like something actually real about it. Now, we're talking about Heavy Rain, a game that is bad. It does not stick to that for long, but there is something to that I really, really appreciate. Which if I may sort of transition us here, we both have a Persona game on our list.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've identified that I really, really like about Persona is the expression of the mundane. And I debated about putting 5 or 3 on my list. 3 Reload. I played that when that came out, last year, 2 years ago. And I really, really liked that game. I never played it before. Never played Persona 3
cool.
before.
That's fun, yeah.
But there is something about all Persona games that I really, really like. And it's just this idea of... there's something like mundane happening, and there's something very like regular. You know?
For me, it's the melodrama. It's everybody hates the show Riverdale. I love Riverdale.
Sure.
Riverdale rules. But what's funny is that like Persona, specifically Persona 4, I think, is just Riverdale. And but people in games will pretend that like Riverdale is schlocky garbage and Persona is like, one of the best RPGs around.
Well, it's funny because it can be both. It can be be both. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about Persona as well. We're just like, no, I like when it's trashy and shitty.
Yes, dude. Yes, because I think that something that a lot of people maybe overlook is that melodrama in a high school setting is perfect for capturing some of like that temperature and vibes. Like things feel like the end of the world even though they aren't, and then the game has the freedom to actually bring the end of the world into it, you know what I mean, as a match for the high intensity high schooler feelings. Because I love that stuff.
These games give the same weight, exact weight to the end, the literal end of the world, or the devil shows up or whatever the fuck, and also final exams.
Yes, and also who you're going out on a date with.
Yes, exactly.
Any game that understands that like love reshapes how you move through the world, and I like how Persona even like literalizes that and makes it like a gameplay mechanic.
Yeah,
but it's like it's just awesome to me that the craziest shit can be going down in the world of Persona, but then there's going to be a part in the game where you go, I think I'm going to go hang out with the nurse.
Yeah, and you're like, it's summer vacation, which means I don't have school. Which means, dude. Oh, I'm going to hang out with insert your favorite.
Who's
From Persona 4 Golden, who's your honey?
Oh, Peter, that's such a tough question.
Yeah,
it's such a tough question. I think like
I knew who it wasn't. I'll say this: I knew who it definitely wasn't.
I'm giving it to Rise.
Is that the pop idol?
It is.
Oh, she was the one that 100% wasn't for me.
I have to be emotionally honest with myself, and I know. Listen. In my brain was like, Jake, just say Yukiko. Say Yukiko.
So for me, it was Yukiko. Yeah.
I have to be emotionally honest. I know my weaknesses. I'll say
the people love Chie, and Chie didn't do it for me. Coconut Head, as Elena called her.
I agree with that. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
For me in Persona 5, it was certainly Makoto, and I know that's the basic answer, but it's true. And then when I did Persona 5 Royal, I did the dancer girl. What's her name? Yoshizawa.
Yes. Scarlet.
Yeah, and I did it because I wanted to see more content and not just do the same game again. But I was the whole time I felt like I was emotionally cheating on Makoto.
Man, Persona 5 that was a tough one for me because I think more than anyone I truly loved Ryuji. So
yes, no, that's so legit. And I'll also say this: in Persona 3 Reload, that was the only game where I've ever in my life cheated on a partner.
Oh shit!
I was dating 3 women at once, and it was crazy because I was like, I honestly love all of these characters.
Damn, dude.
I know. Only time I've ever done it.
I think my favorite in Persona 5 was actually the doctor.
She's the best. Oh, and she's like, you can be my little guinea pig. I'm like, yeah. Oh, you're a goth doctor, yeah.
And not to be problematic, but I kind of liked the teacher too, to be honest.
So here's what's so interesting about, maybe this is a bonus episode for sure.
Okay,
because we're talking about this.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's something interesting about the idea of the way that you perceive video games through a game like Persona. So, for example, I know a lot of adults who are like, I dated the teacher or the doctor or the reporter or whoever because I'm an adult and that's gross for me to date a child, right? Yeah. But then also, I think it's just as legit to be like, well, I didn't date the teacher because I was the student.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm role playing as a child. You know what I mean? And so I dated a child. But both of those answers are both equally insane.
There's a lot of concern in the Persona series for like wokeness, and that probably
in the
is
games,
like,
you think?
In the surrounding fan conversation.
I see. Yeah.
When these games come up, and sometimes it's like, I don't know. I bring it back to Riverdale.
Yeah, no, it's like you're playing a trashy RPG. You
know?
I'm like, it's
yeah,
good. It's really good, but you know,
it's like when you read those or you see those movie adaptations for them, or if you're familiar with like romance novels that are really popular nowadays, and there's like something kind of like problematic at the heart of it,
saucy,
but it's kind of but you know, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like we're
all the Colleen Hoover.
Oh, dude, listen.
You saw that movie? I know.
I saw that movie, and I had a good time. Okay.
Yeah.
Where should we go next?
Yeah, you lead the way, friend.
Let me tell you a little bit about Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I put this on here because I needed a roguelike representative. And
you're a big roguelike fan. I do know this about you.
Huge roguelike fan. Love roguelike games. And Enter the Gungeon to me is the one. And I wonder if it will ever be displaced as the one. Enter the Gungeon 2 comes out early next year. So I'm waiting. I'm watching.
Yeah.
Enter the Gungeon, definitely one of my favorite games of all time. But the reason why I love this game so much is that it really gets at the heart better than any other roguelike I've ever played about why I love this genre so much. It understands what is in its gameplay loop, what is high impact and what is low impact. So the things that are like randomized and that you see that are not like curated are ostensibly like the levels and the layout of them. But in this kind of like top-down little shooter type game, whatever you would even call that shit does not matter. Yeah. It is very much like a bullet hell kind of game, which I typically don't like. But so much of it has to do with your position, the enemy's position, and the position of the things that they are shooting at you, and the position of the things that you are shooting at them. And holy shit, does this game go crazy with saying those few elements I just said, we are going to give you so many different versions of those things that if you're paying attention to the fact that these ostensibly rectangles are arranged in a way that is uninteresting, you are not engaging with the parts of the game that we are interested in you engaging with. And all of this to say, holy shit, every single time you go up to a chest and enter the dungeon and you know it has a new weapon in it, every single time I am opening that
something
chest.
Good.
It's not even about it being good. It's about I am on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see what it is, how it shoots, what the arc of the weapon is, what its little special effects are, how it plays with my other weapons. And every single time it's like, this is what I've got to do. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. And man, it's fun. I can't tell you how many weapons are in this game. It's like absurd. So
I've seen they had, I think at Summer Game Fest, they had a book full of every single weapon from Summer Enter the Gungeon. I think because this is a Devolver Digital game, I think.
Probably, yeah.
They had something like that, and it was, I've never played it, but I was like, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's so cool because it's successful in making you play the game differently. And I really feel like it delivers on this promise of like every run is different. So.
I like a game that pushes you not necessarily out of your comfort zone, even though I do, but like I like a game that really like pushes you to like try something, you know?
Definitely. And honestly, I'm going to give it some credit for on this element too. Something that kind of frustrates me about Hades, but I also understand why it is this way, is that Hades offers an illusion of difficulty that it ultimately wants you to get through and will help you get through the more time you put into the game. This game does not do that. This game says it's not about getting to the end. It's about playing the game. And it's a little more, I
like that about like Returnal as well, as far as roguelike, where it's like the game is just like, this is hard. It's just going to be hard. And like the game is about getting through that.
Yep.
And, you know, you can take as long as you need. And I understand that some people don't like that, but I appreciate that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about Majora's Mask and me?
Yeah, dude. So first off, you put the 3DS version.
I did
on your
put
poster.
The 3DS version.
Was that specifically?
It was.
Okay,
yeah. Because so as a kid, I played the version that's on the GameCube and there's like a.
Oh yes, the Master Collection or whatever.
Master Collection.
I remember that. Yeah. I
played that version. I could not beat it. Because it's weird and hard and doesn't tell you where to go, really. I mean, it kind of does, but it's like one of those things where like Majora's Mask is not a game that I think that you can just beat your head against until you win, until you finish it. I think it requires a little bit more like thought than that. And now that's not to say it's like that much thought, but more thought than I was giving it as a child.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I wasn't reading.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I was just like skip. Get to the part where I can hit stuff with swords, right? And this is like very much not a game about hitting stuff with swords in the way that Ocarina of Time is. And so it wasn't until I kind of fell out of video games in high school because I was just a little too busy. I did a lot of sort of like activities and I had all sorts of other stuff going on. So I didn't play that many games in high school. And then right as I was getting into college, I got myself a 3DS and I was then visiting all of these games that I kind of missed. And I was like, oh, I would love to play Ocarina of Time because they had that 3DS remake, played that. And I was like, next logical step, Majora's Mask. And I played through it. And that was a really interesting thing because there was this moment for me. And, you know, this is the idea of like the games to get to know you. There was this moment for me when I was like, oh, I, as a human being, am a different person than I was when I was 10 years old.
Oh my God, Peter, tell me more.
And I know that's obviously now you're in college, but I was like, no, but like this was a game that was an insurmountable obstacle to me because I just couldn't figure it out. It was too smart for me as a kid. And then now I'm an adult and I'm like, oh no, you just go where it tells you to go. Like it's really quite simple. They do not make it difficult, but it is just like, there's like progress as a human being moment for me when I finished that game. And I was like, this was a game that was like unlocking a mystery for me as a child. And now I have unlocked it. And I feel like good about it because I'm like, oh, it's done. I did it. But like, also there's this thing where like, well, now it's a little less mysterious, isn't it?
Wow, interesting. You're like identifying a childish naivete.
Yeah,
that you don't have anymore.
That said, I do believe that my experience with that game is kind of thematic for what that game is about the passage of time and a relationship with time and this idea of like sometimes things are just a mystery, you know? Yeah, I don't know. And so the 3DS version specifically is what I put on here because that is what I was like when I had that realization.
Man, I really like Majora's Mask. I'm not a big Zelda guy. That's one of my faves. I love Majora's Mask. Dude, when I remember being a kid and like one of the most memorable, tangible video game memories I have, something I saw in a video game that made an impression on me, turning into the Goron and rolling around.
Yeah.
God damn, that was awesome.
The mask freaked me out when you put the mask on and then you're like screaming. And so like I didn't like that the first time you had to watch the whole thing, but then you could skip it after that. And I just remember being a kid and not liking watching him transform.
Man, I guess you're right. For a kid, that scene is quite
as a child, it's a very upsetting video game. It's like,
it really is.
It's upsetting. And I kept like hitting a wall, and so I would just replay the beginning. Or like all the time. I would get through the Deku castle thing, and then I would be like, I don't know what to do, and then I would just replay that.
How many video games as a kid did you just play the beginning of and never see anything past the beginning? So many for me, honestly.
So many. Yeah. So many.
Oh God, my dad had like a Sega Genesis growing up,
yeah,
and there were so many games like that. Like a lot of the Sonic games, we had like a Ren and Stimpy 2D platformer, and me and my brother would play that. Never saw past level 3. I swear to God.
No, because it's just like, well, I know how to do the tutorial. It's made for that, so might as well do that.
Okay.
Yeah. What's another one you got?
I think I want to talk about DC Universe Online.
Yeah, please. I'm familiar with this.
Yeah. So. This came out, I want to say, like 2011-ish or something. And what's fun about this, I think there are so many different elements to this. So one, I remember as a huge superhero person, when I saw like the previews of this game coming out, I remember being in high school and knowing that I did not like MMOs. I thought MMOs were stupid. And it's like, they're not fun to play from my perspective. You know what I mean? I was like, these are not the kinds of games that I like. And I remember Greg Miller put out a preview for IGN, and he was like, this game is good. This game is fun to play. And I was like, don't you dare do this to me right now. And they were doing all the right things. They were showing it's like you get to make your own superhero, and they can fly. You can just freely fly around. Or they can have super speed and you can run around super fast. Or you can have like the gadgets and stuff, and you're using the grapple hook and you're gliding and you're doing all this Batman stuff. And I was like, there's no way video games have come this far. There's no way. And then it came out, and I got to tell you, it largely delivered on almost everything it was promising. For me, I was like, shit, this is going to take up a considerable chunk of.
Okay. So I've never played this, but I have watched a video series set in this.
Wow.
Are you familiar with Monster Factory?
No. Tell me.
It was an old Polygon YouTube show.
Okay.
And where basically these two guys would make like silly characters and character creator things, and so they did a whole like series in DC Universe Online. But to what you're saying is like, I remember even just watching it because it's not the point of the video. They're just making it, funny. Like they're just making a funny YouTube video. But like, I remember being blown away by the absolute like preposterous number of things that like powers you can have and like the customization options and all of that.
It was really, really cool at the time, especially now it's so old, but there's like still new content for it that they put out. I don't know if it's very good or not, but it's still active to the point that like, I will jump back into this game a few times a year and pretty much have fun every time I do it. But man, like, so not only was I just enamored by this game that you're in the DC universe, you get to go to Metropolis and Gotham are the big two open world environments. You're getting your missions from Superman, from Batman. They're talking in your ear. They're telling you what to do. The combat is not typical MMO combat. It's like got action-y combat. So you're doing like square, triangle. You're doing like that kind of stuff, which like really spoke to me at the time. Like all of that was awesome, but it was also just like my first online game, I would say. Like, this is an online game.
And that moment when you like play a game online for the first time, you're like, whoa.
Online
like it's like standing at the edge of the ocean, you know?
Dude, you could, I don't know if it's still like this, but you could be like walking around, and at the beginning of the game, you choose, am I going to make a hero or a villain? Those are the two factions. And if you're flying around Metropolis and you see somebody on your server or whatever that's a villain, you can just attack them.
You just go fuck them up. Yeah, I know that. That's awesome.
And it was like, I just didn't know it was possible. I didn't know that kind of freedom, was something that we could do. And I don't know, just like discovering that. And like the first time I discovered some probably child that was playing as a supervillain, and I saw they had the red name, and I realized that my character was leveled up higher than them, and I could just bully them endlessly. That was pretty good video game experience, gotta say. Yeah, good time.
Yeah. Here's a quick one.
Yeah,
here's a quick one. Let me tell you about Signalis.
Yeah, of course.
I made a whole video about it. You can just watch that.
It's great.
Signalis is one of those games that, like, do you ever play something and it doesn't like super hit with you right when you play it, and then you realize that you've been thinking about it nonstop?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you roll credits and you're like, great, that was cool, and then, but for whatever reason, you're like, no, but it was actually cool. That was me with Signalis. The first time I played it, I was like, yeah, it was good, and then I kept like realizing that I was thinking about it, and then this year I played it just twice in a row, just for my video, to really kind of like sink my teeth into it a little bit more. But that is a game that I find to really, really lean into the idea of the pain of being in love. And I know it's interesting because it's like, the tragedy of it is a love story, and of course I've never been in the situation that they have been in, but as it is a very complicated science fiction conundrum. But like, there is something to this idea of like, when you love someone to the ends of the earth, right? Like you would go to the worst places imaginable for them, or whatever. But then also there is a pain of being in love, or there are like small moments that I really appreciate. The sort of the crux of the game is you play as this android, and there's a problem that they have. They're either androids or gestalts. Gestalts are human beings. Androids are replicas. They're androids, right? But all replicas are based off of like human minds, and so there's a problem where like people will. If the android is exposed to enough things that remind them of who they once were, they will start to like slip back into being that person and not being into an android anymore. And you play as this character who's on a sort of solo mission with one other person, but they were a gestalt, a human being. And you end up falling in love because the human being, she disregards the advice given to her about how to treat you, because she's supposed to treat you as an android, not as a person, and all this sort of stuff. But she disregards that, and that's how you guys fall in love, and that's how like the crux of the game. And when you sort of find out that she had been disregarding that information, there's this like level of like, oh, you saw something here. You saw me as a person when you weren't supposed to. That resonates with me a little bit, with what it's like being in love. Not that that's exactly, you know what I mean? Like, that's not that that's how it was for me, like me and Elena or anything like that. But there was just like this level of like, oh, you saw me for me, not for maybe what I was trying to put on or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, 100% that makes sense. I think what you just explained to me is like, this kind of like trite thing people say all the time about like 10 out of 10 games don't affect you as much as like 7 out of 10 games.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like what you're identifying right now is like this game had all of these specific elements in it that were so like personally affecting to you that when you just played the game the first time, it's like the game itself is like, maybe you're like, oh, this isn't a 10 out of 10.
It's fine. It's good. Sure.
Yeah. But all that other stuff like was still on you when you finished the game. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on there.
And it's told in a way that is not straightforward. So it's the sort of thing where you kind of have to sit with it a little bit. So, I am really probably my favorite video that I have on my channel is my Signalis one, because I think I did a really good job articulating how I feel about that game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know. I kind of think your video about that game's cooler than the game. It's the way that you deploy a lot of like the imagery specifically. Yeah. I'm just like, oh shit, like man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, there's something to that though. This idea of like sometimes talking about a game is better than the game itself.
Yeah, I get that.
Tell me about Pokemon Blue specifically.
Oh, dude, what a battle inside of me.
I bet.
So yeah, I think like, again, not necessarily like my favorite Pokemon game, but definitely in the conversation, top 3, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I chose Pokemon Blue specifically because I think it captures something that I deeply, deeply, deeply value, which is that video games can tell powerful stories without a lot of words on the page. And Pokemon Blue, or the first Pokemon games, the Gen 1 games, if you will.
Yeah.
They are the only Pokemon games that make all of their decisions without justifying themselves in past Pokemon games. So every decision made in the game is a decision made for the sake of the game. Whereas I would say in every following Pokemon game, why do you pick between 3 starter Pokemon? Because that's what you did.
I see what you yeah, because like it was the first one, so he was making the choices. And then now it's a formula.
I think every other Pokemon game refers back to Pokemon 1, and that doesn't immediately make it the best one or most impactful or anything like that. But I do think it means that those choices are justified by stuff in the text as opposed to the game outside of it. So the ways in which the game communicates about every decision you make and how the different places are different and when you are allowed to move on from one section of the game to the next, I feel like it's like the equivalent of a classic in the literary canon. I feel like Pokemon Red and Blue are like Shakespeare's. You can go back and you can pull shit out of them forever in perpetuity and never run out of shit to talk about. I really feel that way.
To your point about that too, I think you can point at like, oh, this comes from Pokemon. Do you know what I mean? Like this originated in Pokemon and whatever, and that's not bad. It's just like, no, this was like so incredibly influential in the same way that, I think actually the comparison to Shakespeare, I think is actually really, really solid.
Yeah. I think it's so timeless. I think it's so powerful. I think you will constantly see different perspectives, iterations, takes on it. And it's the kind of thing where it's not quite the same thing, but we did a book club on my YouTube channel last year for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. And I was playing through those games and I discovered something new about them that I had never seen anyone say before. And like, we talked about it in my book club and I'm like, this is like great art holds up to repeat viewings and nothing holds up to repeat viewings like that damn Pokemon game. So
I'm so glad. Is there a reason for Blue? Is that just the one you played?
Yeah, Blue is the one I played. Blue is the one I played, even though it started out with Bulbasaur.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Can I tell you about Resident Evil 2 Remake?
Yeah, this is so funny to me because it's like, I like Resident Evil 2 Remake. Probably the first Resident Evil game that I really gave a shot and really enjoyed. Played it over the pandemic. And I like it and I enjoyed it a lot. Had a really fun time with it, but it doesn't speak to me.
In my opinion, this is a very easy example of what I would consider a 10 out of 10 video game.
Damn. Oh, I love that take. Okay.
I think I could review this game really, really well. Because I think I can really, really easily articulate what I like about it and how it, here's a word that I've been using a lot because of you, deploys its mechanics.
I love deploy. Yeah.
How it deploys its mechanics in a way that that really is very cohesive.
Okay, cool.
I think what I like when I like talking about bad games, what I like about it is it's like usually it's this thing where like it just unfolds in front of me because I'm like, okay, this doesn't work, and then this doesn't work, and then this doesn't work, and then this doesn't work. And I find that talking about good games is a little bit more difficult because a good game is a little bit more tightly meshed, right? Because of the sort of synchronicity with it all. I think Resident Evil 2 is a great game, but I think that even though it is tightly meshed, it's really easy to point at each of the individual pieces that works and why they all work in unison there. And yeah, I just think like this is a really, really classic example of like a modern 10 out of 10 video game.
What do other Resident Evil games need to really understand about why Resident Evil 2 Remake is so good?
Very, very simple. And it's the reason why Resident Evil 4 is good, but Resident Evil 4 Remake is not. And it's not that Resident Evil 4 Remake isn't good, but it is missing this one element, and that element is pressure. The big complaint that people have about Resident Evil 4 is, oh, but I can't move and shoot. Yep. And that gives me so much anxiety. Yep. That's the mechanic. And Resident Evil 2 Remake has that same thing in a different way, but it has that with Mr. X, the big pursuer enemy who just follows you for 75% of the game. And it's this thing where it is constantly putting pressure on you to move, to do things, to improvise, and to understand when the plan has gone belly up and you have to make something, you have to improvise and come up with something new. And I think that the rest of the series sometimes struggles with figuring out how to give you that right kind of pressure.
Damn.
It's a good game. It's a really good game.
All right, I got a 10 out of 10 on my list.
Yeah, what is it?
What do you think it is out of those games I have left?
Smash. Is it Smash?
No, I'm thinking about The World Ends With You.
Twewy, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about it.
Are you familiar with this game?
Familiar with it in that I've seen it, never played it.
Okay. I think video games being a relatively new art form, new medium, sometimes, while I think that there are a lot of great stories in games, I think that a lot of the times the words on the page are not so good. And yeah, that's not where they sing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, The World Ends With You. This is a game that I look at and I say, I would give anything to be able to adapt this into like a movie or a TV show.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Anything. I find it to be beautifully balanced in its ideas and how the concepts it is so interested in permeate into every of the game. They reemerge with all these different characters, and it's like really, really cool. And I find it to be iconic in some of its imagery and what it's doing. So like, okay, The World Ends With You. The bad guys that you fight are you familiar with the plot at all?
No, not really.
Okay, so it is the story of this kid Neku, and Neku has died, but he is playing the Reaper's game for his opportunity to come back to life. And when you play the Reaper's game, you have to give them the thing that you most cherish. And for Neku, it's like his memories. So it's classic amnesiac protagonist forced into these crazy circumstances and has to take part in this Reaper's game. The enemies that you fight in this game are called noise. This is a game about noise. And like you wake up in the clamor of Shibuya, the billboards, the music, overlapping, talking. And what the game is really most interested in is the internal static of this guy, Neku, who does not want to be seen. He does not want to be perceived. And Neku, he starts the game, you would think his headphones are glued to his head. It is like a shield, the way that he clutches them. And what this game understands, and what I think a lot of stories about like adolescence ever understand, is that the isolation that Neku is so attached to, he sees as a kind of clarity, but the story understands that it is fear masquerading as discernment. And the writing in the game is like feverish and stylized, and you kind of see that matched in the energy of the city itself with like these like jolts of like rhythm and attitude. And it is a language of survival that was invented by people who are too young to wield any power. And so the whole game, I feel like there is this existential question of like how to live when connection itself feels so like dangerous. So you bring in the other element of the game, which is, again, these things like permeate. A part of the Reaper's game is that you play it in partnerships. You have to form a pact with somebody else. So it's the pressing in on this thing for the main character that is like so hard for him. And I don't know, man. There's just like, this is one of those things that I'm like, talk about something that has not been excavated to its fullest. This game, man, juice, salience, obsessed.
This might be a story for another time. Did you fuck with the sequel?
Okay.
Sounds like it's a story for another time.
Okay. So really quick, the gameplay is like perfect in the original because they are dramatizing kind of a lot of the central moral ideas in the game, and they don't quite, the same amount of meaning is not kind of rushing to the surface in the sequel, but the sequel is like a very good and fun video game. And just quick shout out, one of my favorite localizations I have ever encountered in a video game. There are things, which is like a really weird thing to call out, but there is a really high degree of verisimilitude. Sometimes people like, which you would not expect from this kind of game, but there was like a use of like slang and jargon that I was like, wow, normally we don't let characters in games talk like normal people that much. So I don't know, for what it's worth. It's cool.
No, that's cool. That's really cool.
Oh man. Jake,
here's an interesting comparison that I have never heard anyone make before, but me. I'm original. I'm 100% real. The realest who has ever done it.
Hell yeah.
The closest game that I could compare Return of the Obra Dinn to is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me. For the uninitiated.
So Return of the Obra Dinn is a video game where you play an insurance contractor or like collector. And basically it's like set in like the 1800s, late 1800s. And this boat that disappeared just rolled back up, just showed back up on the coast of wherever, like England or whatever. So it is your job. You show up with a magic compass and no one's on the boat anymore. And so you have to find out what happened to every single person and like figure out where they went, what happened to them, who killed them, what their name was, what their job was, all this stuff. Fascinating. And the reason why I think it's so close to Sekiro is because it is a game that says this is what the game is. You are either going to do it or you don't, or you won't, and that's it. And I find that to be, I really like when a game does that. I really like when a game just says, hey, I understand if this is not for everyone, but this is what the game is. And so it is, in my opinion, the best puzzle game of all time. The best game that makes you feel, I know. Because it is saying, here's the mystery. Solve it. You have all of the information you were going to need. And so with your magic compass, your pocket watch, you can turn back time to like the last like 5 seconds before a person died. And so you get to hear just a snippet of what was going on. But very rarely does someone say, I, Peter Hunt Szpytek, first mate, am going to kill you, Jake Steinberg, with a gun, with a handgun, right? Because it's specific about like shot with what. I'm going to shoot you, Jake, with this gun, and you are the I don't know, captain. There's a boat word. You know what I mean? It so rarely happens like that. So instead, you have to like. There's a lot of things that happen based on like you have to figure it out based on like inference, or understanding like. This game has me Googling what different people do on a boat. Because I mean, the game does give you like a decent like explainer about like here are all the roles on a boat. But sometimes like you have to figure out someone's job based on where they were sleeping. You know what I mean? In the ship, because you're like, where was their bunk? And okay, yeah, the first mate does not sleep out with the rest of these people because he gets his own little room next to the captain's quarter and stuff like that. Phenomenal. It's a game that just says it's up to you, figure it out, and I love that.
Man, best puzzle game of all time is crazy.
What do you think it is?
Baba Is You?
Yeah, but see, that's a game that is a similar ilk, right? Because it says figure it out. You're smart enough, figure it out.
I'm like a few months away from saying it's Blueprints.
No, it's not. It's not. I was hoping it was, and Blueprints is not.
I think for me it might be, but I don't know. I love a mystery. I love a mystery. Too. There's a lot of like mystery games though that I wouldn't say are really like puzzle games,
Yeah, I think a lot of puzzle games like struggle with this this exact concept where it's like, well, we want people to be able to play it and be able to like figure it out. And it's like, yeah, I know, but also like, if you are a well-designed mystery and a well-designed puzzle, then I think people will be able to get it. I really liked Lorelei and the Laser Eyes last year. It's my favorite game.
Trying to figure out how I want to tackle the tail end of this list here as we're winding
down. Do we just do like hit me with 2 sentences, 3 sentences?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I just love how sweet it is. And I think sometimes people talk about like the best, every time Game of the Year comes around, you get that best narrative, best story in games. And it's always something that's so like, oh, it's deep. And I wish something like a Dragon Infinite Wealth could win, because they're doing killer stuff without being like, stare at the camera. This is about.
Yeah, because it's always about like games that want to be movies.
Yeah, dude.
And that's fine. I like that sometimes. But I think that I've never played these Yakuza games, or Like a Dragon games, excuse me. But
this one's so good.
Yeah, I've heard it's quite good.
Oh God, I would love for you to play the first like 3 hours of this one.
That's what I did with Yakuza Like a Dragon, because I was just like,
damn, dude.
I played like 3 hours of it, and I was like, yeah, it seems pretty good. Never touched it again.
Oh, Sony, throw up that Infinite Wealth on PS Plus. Get a little PD here to play it. What else do I have on my list?
I would do it then. Yeah.
No, you got one?
Yeah. Nier Automata is a game that is one of those games that looks at the camera and it's like, it's about something.
Yeah, sure.
But where other games pretend to be about something, Nier Automata actually is about something.
Can I confess something? I know we're running. Yeah. Okay.
Confess. It's our podcast. We do whatever we want.
I don't like. Okay, so there are some games that people, they come in on like my Xenoblade streams. And they're like, Jake, you got to play this game so that I can hear you talk about the story. Yeah. And 99% of the time, it is somebody who would maybe identify as like a super fan, and they find that the story in this game is really deep. And they want me to apply my lens so that I can maybe confirm or give them language to talk about how deep it is. I can't make myself believe this is one of those games. Yeah. I just know in my heart it's not that deep.
I think it.
I know you like it. It's here.
I do. I think it asks questions in an interesting way. Yeah. And I think that it uses a lot of video game language to tell its story and to like. This is not going to sound that interesting, but like imagine it's this, but like compiled up over the course of this entire game. Stuff like, who is the assumed enemy? Well, it's the bad guy. It's the guys that are in the game that don't have the swords, that don't look like me. And I know it's not like the biggest revelation to be like, but are they your enemy? But like enough of those small little things that sort of say like, hey, but like, what about that? Have you considered it in this way?
I think I push back against stories that want the audience member to that position the audience member as like I get it, so I know how deep it is. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, because I know that the response to me being like, I don't think this is that deep, is somebody who goes, well, you don't get it like I do.
Oh, no, you're welcome to not. I don't give a fuck. I mean,
no. Yeah. But there's something about these games that I think obfuscation of meaning is often misinterpreted as like a heavier idea than it is. I think all of the Souls games do this as well.
Yeah. But the one thing I would say is the reason that I think this game is different is because I don't think is like doing that obfuscation. I think it is so clearly trying to do something. That everyone who's played this game knows that like, it's going for something.
Yeah, sure.
So that means that like it's not pretending like it's not and trying to be deep on the side. It's like saying like, no, we are about this and we want to explore that.
So maybe I would actually find it to be more similar to something like Metaphor and not like it for those reasons.
Oh yeah, but Metaphor is just not good.
Yeah, all right. Hello, Metaphor, taking shots. I put Injustice 2 on my list.
Or as it is on your photo, Justice 2.
That's right. In my dreams. Next NetherRealm game, please. Justice 2. I put Injustice 2 here because I wanted a classic fighting game representative because I love fighting games so much. And I went with Injustice 2 because I'm going to say that Injustice 2 is the first one that I was like, I'm going to get I'm gonna be fucking serious about this. And I'm gonna like learn the combos and go online and like have like my main and like figure out how to really play this game, which was like a really fun experience for me.
Sure. No, I bet that sounds great. And I know you're a big fighting game fan, so I'm curious to see which one was going to make the cut.
I was so torn. But like the superhero stuff really was the good bid for connection with me as like an audience member.
Sometimes that's all you need to get into a game, right? Is just like I just need to like the topic. You know what I mean?
And now I'm good enough at like reading these things because I got so good at Injustice 2 that I can play any of them, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Alan Wake 2 is a game that is a prime example of style over substance, but the style is so good that it doesn't even matter.
Hell yeah.
And there's a part of me that like when you mentioned, I don't know if it was on this or the bonus pod, patreon.com/critical error. You were like, oh man, like Alan Wake 2 is one of the bonus game, is one of the free PS Plus games for the month. And I was like, had like a stomach ache because I was like, Jake's not gonna like this. Because I think its story is all over the place and it's weird and there's a lot of like logical leaps and it's bizarre. But I think that, like I said, I think that there's just a style to it that gets it over the hump, and I'm like willing to forgive stuff that I'm like, oh, this bit wasn't great or whatever, because I'm like, it's just going for something.
We'll see.
It's going for something. Yeah. If you play it, I would love to hear what you think.
Yeah. I'm excited to check it out. I think my last one, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah.
The everybody here thinks I hate Masahiro Sakurai. Well, egg on your face now. Yeah, Super Smash Brothers. Probably I would say my favorite single video game franchise of all time. I would say number one. Man, it is hard to get me excited for anything the way that I will always be excited for a new Smash Brothers game. I will always say, I think that the true beauty and genius of Smash Brothers is the translation of all of these different video game characters into one game where not only are they pretty well balanced against each other, all you think when you pick up that whatever character you're playing as is, oh man, this kind of feels like what I expected this character to feel like.
Yeah.
Like there's a level of familiarity carried over from the source material into actually playing as the characters, and they all work in the same game, and there's like 100 of them. Come on, that's crazy talk. No, best of the biz. Good in ways that, I will probably never even be able to understand. Not a perfect video game, but a damn good one.
A damn good game. That's how I feel about Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3. Hey, you love Dark Souls 3.
It's a game that resonates with me emotionally because of the emotional work that I have done to it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that stuff is in there or not, but it feels like it is for me. Yeah. And that's kind of enough. I don't know. I wrote about this game. It's funny, like a lot of these games like are in my videos and stuff. I wrote about this in my games we play when it all goes wrong. And I think that replaying that game was the reason why I made that video, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this resonates with me emotionally in a way that I really like. This idea of like bashing your head against the wall to try and find something to sort of like press on for. I know that this is the one that people don't like out of the Dark Souls series. Well, people don't like Dark Souls 2, but like this is one of the ones that people are like, yeah, it's fine. But I don't know. I really like it. I think the combat's good.
10 games to get to know us. God damn. If it would maybe. Oh wait, you got something.
Yeah, I had one more game.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Peter.
I think the way we did it, because we did both the Persona games at the same time, ended up with one. Dead Space 2 is just it's the best game ever made. So that's all. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. And this is not the remake.
There's no remake of Dead Space 2.
Oh,
Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Why remake what's already perfect? It's already gas.
Exactly.
Straight fucking fire. Here's the thing. You want to play a game that feels modern, that came out in 2011, play fucking Dead Space 2. That game paved the way for the big budget Sony game that you like. Paved the way. Did it first.
All right, Peter. I think there was not enough conflict on this episode, so I'm asking you now to pick the worst game on my 10 games.
Oh no.
You're putting one at the bottom. Ugh, you look at that, you're like, I would never.
Problem is I haven't played many of these.
Yeah, but they're all in front of you. You have the ability to play them all, and you're like, even Jake telling me, I just will never play. I will never touch this.
I will never in my life touch DC Universe Online.
Fuck. Really?
I will never. Yeah, I'm not a DC guy. I'm not an MMO guy. The thought of playing that game fills me with dread. Although I think maybe we could. What if we got what if for the Critical Error Nation we had a clan?
See, that would be fun.
Now I'm back on board. Yeah,
but and it's free.
Actually, the real answer is Injustice 2. I don't fuck with fighting games at all. Yeah. I have only ever fucked with fighting games in that my brother used to make me play them so he could beat me up in them. And
you don't want to experience the story about what if Superman became a fascist and stuff?
Oh man, what if Superman were evil? That is actually breaking some new ground. I've never heard a single person sort of think about that and sort of make any sort of media based on what if Superman, but if he was bad.
Would you believe at the time it was much more...
I would. What's my game that you would throw into the sun?
Throwing it into the sun. I'm gonna have to throw. Damn, I know. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I gotta have that Nier Automata.
I know. Here's the thing: you don't ever have to play it. You don't have to. You don't have to like it. I believe you that you don't like it, and that's fine.
It's a flavor of aesthetics as well that I just don't care for. Too gray.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's got that washed out sort of look.
Yeah, everything's dire. All right, great. Well, listen. If you found this to be a nice reprieve from your typical Critical Error episodes, allow me to maybe titillate you with two suggestions. One, leave a comment down below. Tell us you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Tell us about which one of these games you were like, oh yeah, Jake was really on something with Enter the Gungeon there. Maybe a little keep the good vibes going.
What are the 10 games that you define your life? I'm curious.
Man, you're asking a sweet commenter to put 10 games to get to know them in the comments.
I mean, if you wanted
I'll
to
read it. I
would read it, and then Jake and I will talk about it.
Yeah, we will.
Privately.
Yeah.
We will talk about it
send
privately.
a screenshot to you and go, oh, I can't believe they put, okay. That'd be good. And then my second bit of titillation here is that I had so much fun doing this that I'm thinking next week's bonus pod that is only available to $5 and up subscribers each and every month on patreon.com/criticalerror. Every week you get a bonus pod. I'm thinking next bonus pod, 10 sandwiches to get to know us.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, you gonna make that picture? You gonna put 10 sandwiches in there?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. Listen,
I can absolutely do that.
What is it more fun if we just do 10 anything? Just like you just put up like a vision board of yourself.
Oh, I kind of like sandwiches though.
Sandwiches is crazy.
Sandwiches is good.
All right, next week's bonus pod.
Yeah, I could do that. I could easily do that. Yeah.
But what else do we got for our sweet patrons?
Well, I would like to just say that every single week, of course, we value the members of the Critical Error Nation, but we are extremely thankful for the members of the Critical Error Royalty, which is our $10 and up membership. But then also, for the very first time, we have a new tier subscriber. Evan Ponce is the first and ever Jake and Peter subscriber to Critical Error.
Wow, that means they're us.
Yeah, I on the membership perks it says you get to be Jake and Peter. So congratulations, Evan. I hope you like it in here.
So when you write your comment about how much you enjoyed the episode, please write "Thank you, Jake, Peter, and Evan."
Yeah. This is because of Evan.
That's right.
Evan possessed us to do this.
Yep.
But Jake, do you want to hit us with a sound for our $10 and up patrons?
Oh my God, of course. Let's play that sound.
Oh, you know Evan Ponce. We saw him at the grocery store with Connor Truelove. Connor Truelove works at that auto shop where we saw Andrew Bolcar, poor thing, getting those 4 new tires. Ouch. But he goes to the same gym as Danny Disaster, who was in that play with Sam Cedar. And I'm pretty sure that at that play, Jacob Richter bought those Twizzlers, which I love, but you don't. He tried to give them to us, but then you just gave them to Jared Cosino. And that's how you know everyone from Critical Error Royalty.
Wow.
Great.
Wow. Can I read you something I wrote?
Oh my God. I'm dying to know what you wrote about.
I wrote today. I had something and I scrapped it because I didn't like it.
Okay.
I know. Every week, if you're unfamiliar, we read a pre-written piece to keep us sharp. Here we go. Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Is that why we do it?
It's partially.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Here's the thing: we talk a lot about like criticism and writing, but what if we sucked?
What if we sucked? Okay, so we're kind of proving something.
And also like working through some of these ideas too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like when we present an idea that we're like, I don't know if this is finished yet.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Okay.
One of the key tools in a writer's toolkit is imposter syndrome. If you are nodding your head along with me, then congratulations, you are a good writer, or at the very least, you know that you want to be one. While I think it's a good thing to try and minimize imposter syndrome's grip on your mind, I don't believe that it has no place in your toolkit. If I may speak honestly and openly, I am incredibly proud of the work I've done on YouTube on my main channel over the past 10 months. The subscribers and views are great, but that stuff doesn't matter much to me when I think about what specifically I'm proud of when it comes to my work. I'm proud of the videos. They're some of the best writing I've ever done. And I think the years that I've spent honing my skills of video editing and pacing and lining up emotional beats have paid off in a major way. My latest video, which is up right now, feels like a strong piece of criticism that I am immensely proud of. That is, I was immensely proud of it. And then I got added to a Slack channel with some of the best creators on YouTube, and now it's garbage. Like, get this away from me. How did this make it out the door? Garbage. The channel I've worked so hard on, the videos that I put countless hours of thought into, might as well have been transformed in front of my eyes to baby formula, compared to the fillets lovingly cooked by Lindsay Ellis, Jacob Geller, Big Joel, and Rasputin, and comparison is the thief of joy, and I am left penniless. I'm small. There must be a mistake, right? Why is anyone watching? It must be because I have somehow tricked an audience into mindlessly throwing one of my videos on while they do something else. I am not Lindsay Ellis or Big Joel or even Little Joel. I am an imposter, nervously giving everyone else in line the side eye to make sure that they don't notice my spectacular feat of failing upwards. I'm just wearing a mask of a real YouTuber. But if no one notices, then maybe, just maybe, I can make something good before they ever find out. If I am an imposter, perhaps I can strive to not be one forever. Perhaps I can write something of quality that lets me take off the mask and lurk in this Slack channel freely without the company of my own judgment. I honestly don't know if I'm an imposter or not. But I know that the worry that I might be one has pushed me to try and prove that I am not one. Something I take great comfort in is that everyone I admire who makes anything does the same rubber banding that I do as I work on a project. This is good, I say to myself. Or, is it actually terrible? No, it's good. I've never made anything this bad in my entire life. That's not just me. That's everyone. It would be easier if I didn't feel this way, if I were 100% confident in all of my work at every moment. However, it's necessary. I'm insecure about my work. I am worried that I am an imposter, but that worry pushes me to make something better than my previous script. And if it's not better, it won't be made. Imposter syndrome is a sign that you're paying attention and that you want to be great, that you are working on getting better. It is a sign that actually you are a great writer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Do you get that? Do you feel that?
I do feel it. I think, tell me if you connect to this at all. Maybe my favorite musical I was ever in was one where I was surprised I got cast. I showed up on day one and I realized that every single other person in the cast was more talented than me.
Yeah.
And I never learned more.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But man.
What's that that phrase, like, if you're the smartest person in the room, find another room?
Oh yeah, sure. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's like, there's like good and bad with this, right?
Yeah. You can't have too much, because if you have too much, you'll never do anything.
You can't have too much. Yeah. I think what's good about it is that it is, to me, so much like evidence that you're actively thinking about the stuff that you're working on and that you care. And that you're like making choices that, like, you're being intentional, and I think it's all evidence that you're doing like the things that like a good writer should be doing. Because I think that alternatively, there is a kind of writer who maybe writes something about a video game, like a review or something, and they couldn't even tell you like a different decision they could have made.
Yeah.
Like it was just that one, you know what I mean? They just produced the thing that they were always going to produce. So I don't know. I think there's something in there about just like what even art is, and like why these things are what they are, that I appreciate. The kind of anxiety of knowing you can go in a million different directions at any time. And also the anxiety of being faced with people who you think are maybe better and more talented than you. So,
because when I work on something alone, it's great because I rubber band between it's not good or it is good or whatever. But if I eventually land on like, oh, it's pretty good, and then you have to show it to someone, and then that's when it becomes like, oh no, But I think that you can't lose all of that, because if you lose all of that, you lose the important parts that come from that, which is the growth and the learning and all that.
Well, for anybody that might be interested, your video should be available on YouTube and Nebula.
Nebula.com or Nebula.tv. Excuse me.
That's right. Come
on. I'm new to it. I'm not good at it. Yeah.
So I'm sure everybody will go check that out. Leave you little comments over there.
But nice otherwise, to me. Already, there's a guy who showed up in my comments.
No. The comments are going to be so nice to you this time around.
Be nice.
But I appreciate everybody who decided to stick around to the very end of this episode today. Just a little light one, a little fun one. And we'll be back to more kind of focused, incisive critical error episodes starting next week. But again, if you are a critical error listener and you made it to the end of this episode, I guess not again. I haven't said this yet. If you have something that you're like, why aren't they talking about this? You guys should talk about that. That's general YouTube audience. If you want to leave a little comment here and be like, this is what you guys should be talking about, because maybe there's something that's escaping our purview.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to seeing what you say. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.